Yeah, this is live from the lot with Jack Brown of Sophistafunk. How you doing, man?
What's up, my brother?
Yeah, chilling. Glad to
Long
have you
time no
here.
see. Thanks for coming to find us out here. Great night to be here.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Great
a fun night.
show. And we got the homie Tim Palmieri in the house. Jam
Absolutely.
royalty. So definitely a night of incredible music going down.
Awesome. Besides the show tonight, what else you guys have coming up for your tour?
Well, we just played Strange Creek Music Festival for the first time ever. We played Sterling. So Sterling is home base for years and years. And then Strange Creek, which we've always heard of, is like the Sterling of Massachusetts. It was huge. It reminded me a lot of Grassroots, actually. And about 7,000 people.
Oh wow.
And we were the Sunday night cabin band, and we actually got 3 encores, and we played this huge set. We were on tour all weekend, so we were just locked in, and it was one of my favorite shows in many years, and it's a sign of how good things have been going lately, and this new wave of energy and excitement for the new music and for all the shows lately.
Awesome. And you said new music. So is there going to be new music coming out?
Oh yeah, and we're actually gonna E-Man is now working at Flintstone dispensary, and
Awesome.
he's doing the studio upstairs. You can see the billboards and stuff. So we actually have our own studio now that we're operating out of, and we're going to be doing a lot of tracking this summer and getting some cool stuff together. And we have some really cool releases coming. And actually, shouting out cannabis, we're actually recording live right here at High Peaks Canna, Saratoga Springs, New York. So I want to give a shout out to the whole network, all the cannabis industry out there. It's definitely been a new way to meet and get involved with Sophistafunk like never before in New York State. And that's, I think, a really key aspect to our renaissance, is that between these breweries and craft breweries and craft cannabis, there's all these new ways that people are putting on shows and promotion and doing festivals and sponsorships, and it's growing and it's expanding rapidly. So I think there's something to do with our music and the cannabis industry, and they go really well together, and it's helping us lead this next wave.
Well, that's awesome, and especially the legalization of it and everything that people can, infuse it with music.
Yeah, I think that was the big change. And since we had been traveling and knew about that, we were ready for it. And we were in anticipation of it coming, because we had been touring in Northern California in like 2010, 2011, 2012. So we saw how upstate culture was kind of symbiotic with NorCal, the way NorCal is to LA, and how they have the big trees and they have the the beard and the vibe and the skateboards, and there's just something that's like a little bit different about NorCal. And then furthermore, like the peace, love, and freedom vibe that I bring. That's why we're always so well received out there. It kind of ties into this upstate New York. So I kind of started to see that like upstate cannabis and the farms was the vibe, was the culture that was similar to the music of the fusion that we make. So when we take hip hop and we mix it with the styles that we love from the live festival scene, there's something about that that really ties into New York or New York cannabis. And that was the big like moment where we just started to lean into that and doing events together. We got involved with the Home Growers Championship. I'm a judge with them. We started, and now we're doing Summer High Festival this summer, July 25th. Awesome. So that's a big one. And then basically from there, it just started opening up a lot of doors. Like tonight's show is sponsored by High Peaks Canna. Like 2 weeks ago, we played in Rochester, and it was a private garden party sponsored by the brand Umami, who does some really cool dabs and concentrates and stuff. So I'm starting to see that like the cannabis community is beginning to curate events more to what they're into and their interests, and it's becoming this like cooler vibe. So that to me is like the future of events, because you got to remember how many states aren't legal yet.
Oh, yeah, a lot.
So this is going to start cascading and happening in a whole bunch of other states. And just when we're kind of figuring out this formula of like how to bring the music and the culture and the vibe and put upstate New York on our back and bring it with us wherever we go, and bring our upstate fusion where hip hop, born in New York City, meets Woodstock, which is right here, And that kind of fusion of the hippies and the hip hop is Sophistafunk. It's what makes us what we are. It's why we were able to go out to England, and people called it the Syracuse Sound, because they knew Joe Driscoll, and we were playing these festivals out in England, and they were like, sounds like Joe Driscoll, and what's he doing? Mix of hip hop with like live folk and live beatboxing and different influences, funky, you know what I mean? So to me, that's the secret sauce, is that there's not it's not an accident that we came from where we came from.
Right.
It's not an accident that we got up to Saranac Lake, and that was such a well-received show that it prepared us for Colorado.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say, is that like, and even Northern Michigan, who has taught me through the years about what legalization was going to look like, because they were a couple of years ahead of us, and I saw it was kind of like a gold rush speculative early period. So you got the homie Lowell from Lucid in the house.
Nice.
What's up, my brother? Say what up to the camera. It's a North Country legend. See, I brought up the North Country. He came walking in. I didn't. That was
Manifested him.
That's crazy. So
now with you're mentioning your fusion of your music, and it's basically great for everyone because, like you said, the hippies and people like hip hop. Was that always going to be like your lane? What created like that sound that's just so unique that would you guys make now? Like you said, it's an upstate New York
I
thing.
think it was the right mix of my age and timing, the underground hip hop scene. I was starting to fade, and I was graduating from college. I found out about like artists like Atmosphere, Rhymesayers, Brother Ali, Idea, you know, these type of artists that would write kind of more like what I was into writing about.
Right.
So I knew that there was maybe a place for it, but I couldn't find the home. And then we played a show down in Ithaca, and we were so well received in Ithaca that I started to realize that I could lean into it and I could make music with a message. I think there was a fear of a message in general hip hop. But when I noticed in reggae and when I noticed in Ithaca, which was really into reggae, they liked a really strong message of like consciousness, positive vibes. Now, maybe like for hip hop, I don't think you can be as like kumbaya. I think it has to be a little more like wake the fuck up, you know?
Yeah.
Like, can you handle it? But that was like my tip. So I guess kind of leaned into that. And it was political, but it wasn't partisan. It was conscious, but it wasn't, you know, it was like trying to find this like universal middle ground for everybody, but to be really on the tip of like constantly on it. And I think at the time, you know, people thought I was making the wrong decisions. They wanted me to make more music for the mainstream labels and for the short term. And they felt like I was throwing my career away. But I didn't feel like I necessarily was even the right person to compete on that level. I didn't feel like that was me or ever could be me or ever should be me. Like it didn't feel right. I would rather have tried this route. And I was kind of trying to have foresight of where music was going. And perhaps I was wrong, but I thought it was going to be going this way even sooner. So it's ironic that it's happening now, because I think there's a big political uprising where people are being like fed up with lies and propaganda, and they're starting to see through it. And they're starting to see how they're being used by a system that's like pitting us against each other, and they're willing to talk about that now like never before. And that's what our music has always been about. So I just feel like the time is right for that. And like, you know, it sucks that the world has to be more fucked up for that to happen.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're going to find when you get into my music, the deepest spirituality, the deepest love, the deepest positivity. So to me, I have a very rugged optimism. Like I know more about corruption and how things were fucked up than most. And yet I'm deeply love life in a way that I try to convey to others, because once you realize all that, it can actually get you to see the beauty in things and live differently and appreciate things differently, and it can change you. And I would say my story is I'm just like everybody else, except I started doing this at 20 and I wanted to be the best I could be, and all these years have passed and it's changed me, because everything I would study and research, every conversation I had, it changed me over time, because I was striving to be the best lyricist and deliver the most based, perceptive message possible. No bullshit, no filter. Like I was searching for the rawest, realest, and it was changing me over time and changing my perspectives, changing my goals, changing what I thought I needed, changing. It was making me a different person, but it kept rewarding me. And once you start going through that, and then you learn how to humble yourself and pop out on the other side, then all these blessings come in. And I think that's what like a secret to life is in a lot of ways is like what you want. People want to just grab that and make that happen and be mad if it doesn't happen. But I really think like life is like a compromise with like the universe, and like it will give you what you're supposed, like the famous song, can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. Like there is a truth to that, that if you can search for that and be open to that kind of frequency or karma. I don't know. It's not like this hippie mumbo jumbo. It's like some real shit. If you live it,
You manifest
you
it.
you get blessings come back to you. You live good by people, and people remember that. There's a staying power that lasts longer because they see the love in it. And I would argue that as fucked up as it is in this world, it's the people who have love that have held this shit together the whole time. And it's the good family members and the good people in our lives that keep this whole fucker together. If everybody was like that, it wouldn't still be clicking, it still wouldn't be working. It takes, there's a beauty to humanity. And I think it's a crucial time to not lose sight of that, because they want us to turn against each other and to almost deny our own humanity. And I think that's the key right now, and why I'm like called to action by my music to like more than ever go out there and tell people and keep it human. You know what I'm saying? You heard Electric Blue and recognize?
Not in full, no. But I'm saying like you have your lane.
These are two like radically different tracks. That one as a guitar and was embraced by all rock and was hitting hundreds of thousands of spins on the radios in Syracuse, and is like really gritty and political. The other was like really bright and a love song. So to me, it's like about the balance between like, because love is very revolutionary in itself. So a lot of my songs are called to action, but nothing's more revolutionary than love. So to me, it's just about that balance of like, if you notice, like sonically, like, but every beat, you have the dance beats, you have the downbeat funk, you have all these different changes that you're basically giving people like a variety. You're giving them and then you're holding on to the vintage tones and the sound that like gives you a signature sound, right? I think so many people don't have when you try to be like everybody else. So to me, it's about like exploring the further places you can go, different players. Like we were playing with a guitar player now, getting him more involved. Like he was on the song Recognize. I definitely recommend you checking it out, because I think you'd be really loud by it. And like, that's kind of the tip we're on now. Put in high-end, high-quality content. If people want content, then make high art, and give them that. And make some music videos, and then let that speak for itself when it comes to like understanding nowadays that the internet is important, which is crucial. But at the same time, still holding on to what made us the rawest human band, when it was just all about grassroots and connecting and playing gigs, which is our lifeline deep down through.
Okay. And the other thing I was going to ask was, when it comes to song, like creating a song, are you going with your message first, or you start with your hooks and your beats? What are you usually, I feel like you're big about your message.
I don't think there's anything where a message is ever not in it. So to me, it's like, how much are we going to lean on it or not in that given song? But it's always going to be there. Because I think that's the kind of secret to it, is like, if you're up on stage, people might only, especially live, they might only hear a certain part. So you want them to be able to, no matter what they get, to get that. Like almost like Mandelbrot said, like a slice of it is everything. So if you can get a slice, you can feel that kind of universal vibe. You can feel that kind of like what I'm hoping you get from it. So I would say it's about how to like bring the two worlds together, how to get the message to meet the moment, meet the song. Maybe there's already a hook, and now you're going to work off of it and make, but like there's all different ways. But I would say now more than ever, people want that bunch of raw political hip hop shit. Like never, and I've been waiting my whole life for that. I'm like, bring it on
now.
Like, yes, let's go. So that's a cool aspect, yeah.
Yeah, and it's progressed, like you said, it seems.
Well, because things are moving. Gets better with time. You watch a lot of these artists, some of these great ones, the songs don't have staying power. They're embarrassed to say it when they're older. They don't want to say those lyrics. You know what I mean? I can give a lot of examples. But what I'm getting at is like, for us, it's the opposite. It's just more relevant. Shit hits harder. You're in the internet.
Absolutely.
And that's crucial. So we want to send out big love to High Peaks, Canada, and everybody for hosting us today for the podcast. I'm sending out big love to High Peaks, Canada. You could talk. And I heard Sophistafunk playing, so that was cool too. That's gonna be on there. And obviously tonight we're throwing it down with Tim Palmieri, Sophistafunk and Friends, which is another great wrinkle in how we've been really expanding our sound, is how having all these different guests in different cities, great players from those areas, has like changed things a lot. Really cool. So that is gonna be exciting tonight. And we got a super legend with us. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And before we go, is there anything you want to touch base on about just the Syracuse sound and how it just has created your help with the scene and the music in upstate New York, you know?
I think it's not an accident that that's where it happened. And when I look back on all of it, especially the years, people say, oh, we love 90s hip hop. The truth is, when I moved up to Service in '03, it was an extension of 90s hip hop. I was able to see that, and I was able to meet this whole other scene, which was the live music. And when I put those two together, that was my eureka. And that all happened in Syracuse. And big shouts to Folk and Waffles and our whole squad. And be on the lookout. We're going to be at Taste of Syracuse this summer. We're going to be at Hanover Thursdays. We got a lot of great events, New York State Fair, and some really cool things, some things we haven't even announced yet. So be on the lookout. Jack Brown from Sophistafunk, hanging out with Tommy.
Thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt.
See ya.
Peace.